is that we believe that speaking is a learnable skill. Speaking is a learnable skill. This means that if we focus our attention and our energy on the ideal way in which we want to speak, right, our desired way of speaking, we can train ourselves to speak well through modeling, through practice, through repetition over time. So let's talk about this then. How do we know that speaking is a learnable skill? How do we know that this is true? We know it's true for a few reasons. Number one, how do children learn to speak? And I even use the word learn, but how do they come to speak? Well, children learn often in a very different way than adults learn. They have a very natural way of learning. They haven't been taught, right, the right way to learn. So they learn very naturally. What is that? What's that natural way that they learn? Well, they learn through observation, right? By watching what other people are doing, by watching their what? Models. Does this make sense? So they learn by watching their siblings, their parents, their grandparents, whoever's in the environment around them, they're watching them, they're observing with all of their senses. They're tasting stuff, they're touching stuff, feeling it, right? They're manipulating it. They are listening, hearing, smelling, they're seeing, okay? So they're observing with their senses, and that's how they learn, by observing over and over and over again. So how do they learn to talk? By watching, by listening, and then by repeating. So they have this inner drive to repeat, to pattern themselves, to model themselves after those that are in their environment that look and that are most like them, human beings, right? They don't necessarily pattern themselves after the dog or the cat, although some do for a little while, just as they're playing around. But there's this inner urge to pattern themselves in their speech and walking after those that are like them in their environment. Makes sense, right? Okay. So what this means is that they learn to speak through observation and then through trying, and often through some teaching, some repeating certain words, and then they repeat it after you say, no, say it like this, and so forth. And as we get older and we learn how to learn, then we learn by studying something, by writing it down, by listening, by watching someone lecture about it. And so we have a variety of different ways of learning. And speech is one of those things that as you get older, if you want to learn a second language, which many of you already have, right? Many of you speak other languages like Arabic, Hindi, and a lot of other different languages. And so what you do is, in order to learn English, which you have to know in order to be watching this broadcast, say have to, because maybe there's some kind of translation. But what you do then is you immerse yourself into the language, you get around people, you get in an environment where people are speaking English, you're watching it, you're listening to it, you're reading it, right? Or maybe you take a course, a self-study course, you go to a class or school, and you hear it, you read it, you write it, you practice it over and over. But then ultimately you're going to need to immerse yourself in it so that you can take whatever you've learned in the class or the book to the next level. So there are classes in schools to teach us how to speak, to teach us languages, right? There are classes in schools and books and training to teach us how to become excellent speakers as well, how to become superior presenters, how to improve our communication skills. There are schools and classes and training to do that. So it's very clear to me and to you that speaking and speech is a learnable skill. And it doesn't matter from where you're coming. That is, doesn't matter if your speech is terrible, doesn't matter if you stutter. I've proven this time and time again. It doesn't matter if you stutter. You can learn because speech is a learnable skill. You can learn to speak well. And what do you need to learn to speak well? Well, you need a model. You need to be able to see. Now, you can learn without a model, but it's very, very difficult. If you have a model, it makes it a lot easier. And when you focus on your ideal way of speaking, is how do I want to speak? Well, let me see how my model speaks. Or you focus on, I want to speak smoother. I want to speak more fluently. I want to speak more confidently. Then you focus on how it is or what you need to do to speak in that way. How do I speak smoother? What do I need to do? Well, let me watch or listen to someone that speaks smoother. Let me just copy them. Let me mimic or model them. But you can also learn it by saying, okay, what are the components of smooth speech? Well, maybe a component is your rhythm. It might be extending certain words. It might be inflecting. So some people would rather learn that way, or there might be a combination. So in my programs, I teach a combination. I teach you technically, right, my definition of smooth speech, but also give you a model, and you can also have your own models. Right? So we're doing both, giving you natural learning by modeling, and we're giving you the technical aspects of smooth, fluent, and confident speech. So you get both of them. Does this make sense? Now, this declaration, this belief statement, is very important. And by the way, the name of this declaration is the Declaration Freedom to Speak Well. If you believe that you can speak well, then guess what? You're going to be able to speak well one day, right? If you believe that you can, and you believe all the points on this declaration, you can and you will be able to speak well. If you believe it and you do something about it. So what we're saying then is that in this third point, you can speak well because speaking is a learnable skill. And because it's a learnable skill, it's something that you can do, it's something that you have control over. And because it's something you have control over, you can have hope, confidence, you can be encouraged that it doesn't matter how bad stuttering is, it doesn't matter how poor your speech is right now, you can learn to become an excellent speaker. You can learn to become a superior speaker. You can learn to say what you want to say when you want to say it. This all depends on how you view your speaking situation right now. So if you stutter, it depends on how you look at that. Do you look at it like it's a disease? Do you look at it like it's a disability? Something that you're stuck with, that you need to deal with, that you need to embrace, that maybe you need to love your disability. Some people actually think like that. I don't. I don't believe it's a disability. I don't believe it's a permanent disability, even if it is a disability. It's something that you can learn to do differently. So it doesn't matter if you stutter, you can learn to speak well, right? And because you are constantly improving your speech and your speaking ability is improving and getting better and better, what happens is the stuttering diminishes and diminishes and shrinks and diminishes until finally it's no longer bothering you. And in some cases, it's not even there anymore. Or it's not there any different, or it's there no different than anyone else. I was listening to someone talk today, I'm not sure who it was, and they were repeating words over and over. They didn't stutter. They didn't consider themselves stutter, but they were repeating words. They were stuttering. Okay? So yeah, you might get stuck occasionally, but so does everyone else. But you're not going to think about yourself as a stutterer. You're actually going to be a superior speaker, an excellent speaker, because you know that speaking is a learnable skill. Speaking is also a pattern, which we talked about in the last declaration. Okay, so I just wanted to cover that today because I didn't get a chance to broadcast this yesterday because of some technical difficulty, and that happens. But I appreciate you watching this. For those of you that are watching this, I also want to give you a heads up on a brand new audio-only program that I'm about to release, and I'm letting my private intensive coaching clients use this now. I had an older version of it. It was an audio affirmation visualization program, and what's happening is my clients, based on that old program, are seeing incredible results just from that. Not even doing some of the other things, right? Just from that, they're seeing incredible results. This new program is targeted to help you change your beliefs, change your thinking, change your attitude, to help keep you inspired and motivated, to help give you confidence. And what I've found is that if you can do that, if you can shift your mental state, and if you can keep it there, your speech can in many cases instantly and automatically improve dramatically, right? I've had people tell me, in fact, two of my current clients who before they were clients, they told me that just from watching my videos, they were fluent for 3 days, for a week. These were severe stutterers. They were totally fluent for between 3 days and a week. How did that happen? How did that happen? Well, what I've done is I've examined that, and it's happened to me too years ago. And I've had other people tell me the same thing. So I examined that, and I designed a program to specifically have a similar impact, to have a similar effect on you. And all you have to do, and this is the good part, this is, in fact, this is easy, and you'll hardly ever hear me use the word easy, but all you have to do is listen to it every day. You have to try to do anything, you have to practice anything unless you want to go above and beyond. All you have to do is just listen to it every day. And then what's going to happen is your beliefs, your thinking, your attitude, your feelings, your confidence is slowly going to be transformed. It might be quickly transformed. And just keep listening to it. Don't stop listening to it just because all of a sudden now you feel great and you're speaking well. You just keep listening to it. You can't get any easier. And I'm telling you, this is absolutely incredible. People are reporting back to me, this is the impact, this is the effect that it's having. And I wouldn't be releasing it, I wouldn't be telling you this because I don't like to. In fact, you're going to hear me say that it's hard and it's going to take time, you got to work hard. That's absolutely true when you want to become an excellent superior speaker. But this program is the easiest thing that you could do because all you have to do is listen. And we have seen people transform their speech just by watching videos and listening to audio. So repeatedly we've seen this. So we know it's possible. We know that it can and it does happen. So I want to encourage you to look out for this audio program. It's only 41 minutes for all of the audios, and I've bundled some other stuff in it as well that I'll tell you about later. Also want to encourage you to check out our annual speech conference, our first annual virtual speech conference, so you don't have to travel, because I have so many people from around the world. We want to connect all of them, all of you, in this virtual speech conference. Next year we'd like to do a live one, right, in person, but this year we want to do a virtual. So you want to tap into this and go ahead and get registered for it because we're only going to have so many virtual seats. So go ahead and try to tap into this and look for the link under this video. Okay, thank you very much. Get your copy of the declaration and let's go ahead and let's start working on this speech and let's get it to the place where we know that it can be. All right, thank you very much. This is Michael Williams and I'll see you the next time.